Go over to St. Luke 12 as we get ready to close. Go to St. Luke 12, verse 15. Let me have someone read that, please.
And he said unto them, Take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consists not in the abundance of the things which he possesses. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruits? And he said, This will I do. I will pull down my still greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul has much goods laid up for many reasons. Take thine for many years. Take thine, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself, and is not rich toward God.
Okay. Here's a parable. Here's another parable about Jesus. This is a parable about the intense interest of the rich man. In this parable, there's a rich man, and the rich man interest. The rich man is actively using his energy to do what? To produce what kind of result? What is the rich man said that he's accomplishing here? When this parable starts out, what is the rich man accomplishing?
He brought forth the fruit.
So he brought forth fruit. He did some work. He's working, and he's producing fruit. The Bible said he brought forth plentifully. So that meant that he brought forth plentifully. That means that whatever he is doing, it's causing him to increase, causing him to be richer. He got so much until he ran out of space. And so he said, you know what? I'm doing very good. I got more than I have space for. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use my energy and my time to build bigger barns so that I can put this extra that I have in these other places. That's the way he chose to use his time and his energy. That's what he chose to actively show interest in. Because he said, when I do this, then I'm going to take my ease. I'm just going to kick back and I'm going to enjoy life. That's whose plan? That's the rich man's plan. Look at what the Bible says in the 20th verse. But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. So what God is saying is, you fool, you are building up this place. You're using all your time and energy every day from sun up to sundown. You're working to put all of this productivity, all of this fruit, all of this resource that you're gaining, all to make yourself richer. You are using your time and energy to store it up. And you're even opening up other places, other buildings, so you can store more up for yourself and believe that you can control how long you're going to live so that you can enjoy it. So you're just taking the time every day, using every ounce of your energy, directing your activity, showing your intense interest in you doing nothing but filling these barns to make them fuller. To filling these storehouses to make them fuller so you can show that you have more riches. That's what you're doing. And as such doing that, you are living as if though you control how long you live. So God calls this person a fool. Why? Because this person has intense interest in doing the wrong work. has intense interest in doing bad work, because he's not doing the work to honor God. He's doing the work to honor himself. He's storing up for a future that he has no control over. He's assuming that he controls when he's going to die. He assumes that he has control of how much he's going to keep for himself. He assumes that he is the one that caused himself to be rich, to have what he has. So God says, you are a fool. He said, your soul is going to be required tonight. And look at what else he goes on to tell him. He said, then whose shall those things be? Who's that stuff that all that stuff you got? Who you going to leave it to? Who's going to get it? You fool. For you to think that you can live this way. For you to think that I don't see you. For you to think that I don't know your works. For you to think that I know that you are not honoring me in the way that you live. For you to think that you have control over keeping all the stuff that you have went out and worked. Now I'm going to fast forward to today's time, and I'm going to put it in modern terms. If you spend all your days, all your waking time, all your energy and your activities in trying to gain riches, in trying to gain stuff that mankind has today, to have everything that everybody else has, to build up all of this wealth, when you spend all your energies and your interest and your time in doing those things and you are not rich toward God, the Lord is calling you a fool. Because you are living as if though you control how long you live, and that everything that you are amassing, you are going to live and you're going to keep and enjoy, and you will not. The fact of the matter is that you are using your energy. You're actively using your energy to produce the wrong result. You're not showing any intense interest in the right work. You're showing intense interest in the wrong work. You're not rich toward God, so therefore you will not be enjoying that. That's what's going on here. That's what God is saying to this rich man. You're going to leave what you have here to somebody else. You say, is that really true? Well, let's think about it for a moment. There have been people in man's history that we've learned about in the history books. We've learned about who died, and they tried to bury all of their riches with them, thinking that they control where those riches go, and that they were going to keep those riches for themselves after they died. Many of the pharaohs thought that this would be the case. Decades later, years later, were those riches still sitting in the ground, or sitting in those places where they buried them? The only thing that was gone was their bodies were disintegrated. And where in the case of the pharaohs, they were mummified, but it was still deteriorated. So there is no way for them to enjoy that stuff. That stuff is left there for whoever finds it. Have you ever known of situations where people have unearthed or found money or something that looked like somebody had buried it, and they buried it for themselves, but then you find it, or somebody else finds it, and they now can take advantage of it because they found it? But that's the same thing. People prepare as if though they control their tomorrows. And what the Lord is saying, you are a fool when you are rich in this world and not rich toward God. When you actively use your energy to produce a result or to produce work that allows you to be rich in this world, and you're not rich toward God, you are a fool, because you will lose it. That's the message here. That's why the 21st verse goes on to say, so is he that layeth up treasures for himself and is not rich toward God. We have to show an intense interest in the right work. God has no problem with people being rich. God does have a problem with people being rich and believing that they are the ones who have provided that wealth to themselves. Go over with me to Proverbs 3. But what we must do is not have the wrong reputation for having an intense interest in doing the wrong work, We must learn to do the right work. And that's what Proverbs 3, this is the wisdom and knowledge that the Lord encourages us to embrace, challenges us to embrace, for us to direct our energies to have an intense interest in doing the right work in this manner. Read Proverbs 3 verse 1, please, as we get ready to close.
My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments.
So the encouragement is for you not to forget who God is, not to forget what God said as an individual. Continue.
For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee.
For you not forgetting, the Bible said you will have length of days. What did the rich man not have?
He didn't have length of days.
The rich man we just learned about in the parable, he assumed that he had length of days, but the Bible said, God said to him in that parable, your soul is going to be required of you that night. And all that you've amassed, you're going to leave to somebody else. All the plans you have for enjoying your riches, it's going to be for somebody else. Because you don't control when you exit. Neither do you control when you arrive. So what the Lord is promising us, if we actively show an intense interest in obeying His word, not forgetting who He is, not forgetting who has blessed us, not forgetting where we've come from, not forgetting what God has done for us, and we actively live with God in mind, He's saying, I'm going to give you more days to live. I'm going to make your life longer. And I'm going to give you my peace. That's a phenomenal promise. God's peace, not man's peace, God's peace. Continue, please.
Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man.
He's saying in the community, you should actively direct your energy in a manner that shows mercy, in a manner that shows truth. Your energy, your actions, your deeds, you should actively perform deeds of mercy. You should perform deeds of truth in the way that you relate to people in the community, in the way that you live. Continue.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding.
When we trust in the Lord, what that means is that we are on the Lord. We are looking to the Lord for help. The rich man was leaning on his own understanding. His own understanding led him to believe that he made himself and that he controlled his future. Many times people build up wealth and they build up retirement plans and monies and things of that nature, and as if though that they will be living perpetually. What I'm trying to get you to see, not to scare anyone, but to help you understand what the Lord is saying. I will give you time. I will give you length of days. I will give you peace in which to enjoy if you would use your interest, demonstrate your interest in the right work. And that is, you would show that you haven't forgotten my commandments, my laws, my statutes. You will live and you will relate to people and demonstrate to people that you honor me in the way that you live. And you acknowledge me in the way that you live and relate to people. If you don't do that, then he is saying you are useless to me. The work that you're doing is useless to me. It doesn't matter how much you feel that you are doing the right thing. He's saying that if you are not doing the right work, then you're useless to me. You're lukewarm. I see you and know your works. That's the message that God gave us. I see you. I know your works. So like Jesus, we have to say, you know what? I must be about my Father's business. I must change my reputation. If I'm not doing the right work, I must change my reputation to do the right work. Continue reading, please.
In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path.
See, acknowledging God is a part of how we show that we trust in God and honor him. Acknowledging him. When you live a life where you direct your energy in a way that it doesn't allow you to acknowledge God during the course of your day, you are not doing the right work. We should not have a life that has us not acknowledging God during the course of our day at all. If we have a life that has us not acknowledging God our day at all, that's a sign that we have a life that makes us believe that we can live without God. And the message that God has for people who think that way, you are a fool. Because your life is going to be required, your life is going to be cut short, and you're not going to even be able to enjoy the things that you are planning for. You want to enjoy the things that you're planning for? Make sure that today you are doing the right work. You show an intense interest in doing the right work, which is honoring God in the way that you live and do things, and encouraging people around you to be the same. Not you conforming to them, them conforming to you. You being the light that they follow, not them being the light that you're following. Continue reading.
Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy neighbor and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine.
The Bible is saying, honor the Lord with thy substance. In other words, when God blesses, honor God with that substance. One of the reasons tithe and offering is a part of our blessing structure is because for us to honor the Lord as he directed us to honor him with our substance. What we're doing is acknowledging that it came from him. It's not ours. It came from him for us to enjoy. That's why he says, honor the Lord with thy substance. And he said, if you do that, your barns are going to be filled with plenty. You're going to always have, as long as you bring God into the mix. I see you and I know your works. That's what the Lord is saying to all of us. So when we live this way, this is talking about how we engage God, how we show God, how we use our active energy to honor God. That's what this chapter is talking about. These verses are helping us understand. And we thank God for giving us this roadmap, helping us to learn how to actively show interest in the right work.
Oh, praise be to God, from whom all blessings flow. It is our prayer at Clay Family Ministries that your life has been increased with the increase of God through this study. We appreciate and are thankful for your fellowship during this life skills study segment.